Sally introduced me. Sally was doing some printing for me. She had for 2 years, and I was telling her about a situation I was facing. And so she said, let me just share this with you. So I do a lot of research and medical research just because of my wife's health issues in the past. And I've had 6 back surgeries and several other surgeries. And I have an abdominal aortic aneurysm. And it was a result of taking some medication for a number of years. And but the aneurysm was getting bigger and bigger. And if they rupture, you have about a 20% survival rate, if you're within a few miles of a hospital. And so mine was not at the point where it was going to rupture. But 3 years ago, they stented it, put a stent in it, and the stent runs from the middle of my abdomen down and into the groin of both legs. And so they check it about every 6 months to a year. And they found with a CAT scan that I had what's called an endoleak. In other words, the stent was there and it was in place, but it was still leaking into the aneurysm and getting larger. And so they suggested I do a 2 or 3 hour surgery. They're going to go in and try and cauterize it, find out where it was leaking, et cetera, et cetera. And since it wasn't an emergency, but it was going to be an emergency probably within another 18 months or so. So I just decided, because of the research I've done on the patches and a lot of other stuff, I'm going to give this a shot. And so I started in June, I think it was, of 22. Started on several different patches, 39 scarletine, getting rid of using Aeon. And so then in December, we decided, okay, we're going to do the surgery. And so the vascular surgeon, my daughter shows up, and my wife wanted to make sure that my insurance was paid up. And at any rate, so they put me in for a 2 to 3 hour surgery. And my daughter's a vascular surgical nurse. And 25 minutes later, the vascular surgeon comes out. And my wife looked at my daughter and said, this is not looking good. He walked out and he says, the CAT scan showed an endoleak. He said, the angiogram, when we went in there and looked around, we cannot find the leak. It's just not there anymore. And so we have a baseline to work with. I go back in next month. Did the patches do it? I don't know. But I do know this, that I was headed for a probable problem, and I do not have that problem. And so in my research also, I found that the pluripotent stem cell also, according to PubMed, will shrink an aneurysm. It's in the paperwork I sent you, Marcy.
Yeah.
So that is, and I've lost it because of my surgery I had 25 years ago. I had lost the use or the feeling in both my feet. I think the scar tissue is dissolving in the lumbar area right now. I'm getting the feeling back at my feet. And so God's been good. And I believe God gave us the patches. And folks, I don't know if anyone understands this, but when my wife's health had been poor for 35 years. When we moved to Georgia, she had 18 months to live. She's still alive. We've been married 55 years. But it takes a lot of work. And if we'd had access to the patches, I think we could have eliminated about 30 years of a whole lot of work and research in getting her squared away. And of course now, and we're looking forward to reversing this aging, and we have 10 grandchildren, and looking forward to what the future holds. So that's where we're at, and we're just sharing and caring and trying to pay it forward.